Hello everybody watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 22 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Florida 500 here at Pensacola International Raceway, the restrictor plate track, not the Roval that we ran earlier this season, the restrictor plate track. 3 miles, 54 seconds per lap depending on speeds. And we're getting set for 22 laps of racing here. Before we take a look at the starting lineup, the top 10 in the points coming into the race tonight, Rob Evans leads by 33 points over now second place Dylan Poteet. Third is James McLeod, fourth Jake Baskinger, fifth Cole Deaver, sixth is Jonathan Zorling, seventh Trent Dunham, eighth Jessica Shelton, ninth Cody Lamas, 10th Caleb Kilburn. That is how the top 10 in the points look coming into the race tonight. But look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row is Cody Lamas, Melissa Alexander. Top 10, Rafael Leduc gets his first pole of the season. Starting next to him is his teammate Jessica Shelton. Row 2, Jake Rogers, Matt McIntyre. Row 3, Joshua Sekuli, Emmanuel Hartnett. Row 4, Charles Sanford, Jonathan Zorline. Row 5, Caleb Kilburn, Benjamin Miles. Let's get to command to fire engines for the Florida 500 at Pensacola.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers rolling for their one pace lap around here, and even some of these cars are leaning on each other on the apron down there, which is a little weird, but we're getting ready to get them onto the racetrack itself. Now, this racetrack, as you can tell by the width of the lanes, it is a pretty big racetrack, and we could see 5 wide racing here. In fact, we did some testing for the restrictor plate package we're running with the CTS Physics, the new EXE, and they were able to race each other really, really well at 4 and 5 wide, so we could be on our way to seeing one of the craziest restrictor plate races in the history of this series. But of course, a lot of different drivers trying to work on making some strides to get themselves in the hunt for the championship. Even drivers who are as low as 20-something in the point standings to try and start building momentum going forward for the rest of the season, because after tonight, 14 races left this season. Because remember, no chase format. It's all about who has the most points at the end of the season, like it should be in all of motorsports, to be deemed champion. As we're getting ready to come off of turn 6, as the pace car should be entering pit road at any moment, he goes in now. And ladies and gentlemen, boogity, 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 let's go racing! Rafael Leduc leads the first lap, so that is 4 bonus points. 3 for getting the pole, 1 for leading a lap. So plenty of bonus points going towards Rafael Leduc's run here, as he right now holds on to the race lead. As you can see, 4 wide for several rows deep from about, I'm going to guess, 12th on back, as Leduc continues to hang on. Right behind him is Joshua Sekuli, but may not be for long. Jay Jefferson in the 87 now, with help from the 66 of Bradley Zorgdrager, to get a run up here to the front. And a little teaser for Season 7 for you guys. Jay Jefferson will be joining a brand new team, the Kyle Racing Corporation, which will be a team headed by Kyle Matthews, and he's going to be taking the number 5 car for next season. So perhaps this bad luck season the 87 has had so far will change next season when he moves to a brand new team and manufacturer. And how about Melissa Alexander in the 6? Started dead last within 2.5 laps up here towards the front of the field. Even Cody Lamas, who started in front of her in 39th, is even up here in the mixture as well. But Leduc so far has led all 2 laps, on his way to leading the 3rd one for now, but cars are going to try and do their best to get different lines working to take that spot over, and 3 wide looks like for the race lead. Leduc, Alexander, and Anthony McCrory. But it looks like McCrory's going to get the advantage, as he's got help from James McLeod in the 51 car to push him up here to the front. And I think that last car in the pack I see is Rob Evans, the points leader, so not off to a good start for the points leader. But luckily still plenty of time to make something happen, especially because they don't have to pit in this race. James McLeod, who's had somewhat of a renaissance of a season, 3 wins, 3rd in points currently heading into the race tonight, looking for win number 4 this season. And remember, this is his farewell season in the Marvel Studios Cup Series, and he's definitely looking to end his Marvel Studios Cup career on a high note by winning the championship. Right now, he's got his nose underneath of McCrory's car, with help from James Shelley in the 71 to try and push him up there. Although McLeod just got left hanging right there by the 71, and actually Rafael Leduc trying to push the 61 ahead of the 51. And it pays off as McCrory hangs on for the time being. As I look around here in the back of the field, and Joshua Sekuli within a few laps has fallen from 2nd to last on the racetrack. Looks like we might get another 3 wide fight for the lead going into turn 1 here. Maybe not, as McLeod still working that 61 of Anthony McCrory, and McLeod now takes the race lead over. Some glimpses of 5 wide racing happening in the back of the field. Oh, and a hard, vicious crash! The big one has just struck here on lap 6. Caution immediately out, and a lot of contenders involved. Hardnett was in it, Jefferson, Jacobs, Forbes was in it, Deaver was involved, Lamas was involved. Looks like, I think Jake Baskinger, yes, he was in there. Seth Cole was involved. The big one strikes here on lap number 6 here at Pensacola, and it looks like McLeod leads at the caution. The big one struck on lap 6, taking out about 10 cars, maybe 9 at the least, but quite a few cars I saw took some hard hits into the outside wall. And we're going to see how all that got started, as we're going to take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Pensacola. Well, here's a look at what happened. So they're 5 wide, but the 3 wide cars on the bottom were not giving each other very much room, as it looks like it's going to be Jake Baskinger who's going to come up into Jordan Forbes and Phil Parker. But watch Emmanuel Hardnett. He gets turned up through Jay Jefferson. Hard hit into the outside wall head on. And even Jordan Forbes took a pretty hard hit out up there as well. Carson Gum, I didn't even know was in there. He gets involved. Same with, as you saw right there with Lamas. There's where Seth Cole gets his damage. I don't know if Rob Evans got involved, but we'll take a look at that here in just a little bit. He might have gotten a piece of that. But let's just watch the hits that both the 77 and the 20 took. In fact, let's actually do a stop motion, see how fast he was when he hit that wall. About 190 miles an hour, head on into the outside wall, pretty much directly head on. And Jordan Forbes, he was already crashing, and then he goes spinning, and he hit hard at about 187 miles an hour and actually almost flipped over because his car got airborne for a second. But let's see how this all unfolds again. But also watch the 88 of Rob Evans back here. As there you see they all crash. The 77 and the 20 take the hardest hits of them all, but the 20 I think took the worst of it. I don't know, Rob Evans might have gotten through. In fact, just to be absolutely clear, let's actually go to helicopter camera and see if he manages to get through or not, because he was right there in the midst of all that. Let's watch as he sees everything unfold in front of him. Looks like, yeah, he avoids it, just goes down to the apron and avoids everything. So great job on the part of the 88 of Rob Evans, who is the points leader going into the race tonight. But yeah, the big one damaging about 10 cars back there. And this was a big one that happened mostly in the back of the field, but a lot of key contenders got taken out early, as we're going to go ahead and take you to the restart here at Pensacola. Well, the drivers that are out of the race as a result of that crash, Dylan Jacobs, Cody Lamas, Jordan Forbes, and Emmanuel Hardnett, as Hardnett's struggle of a season for his farewell season continues, and then Jay Jefferson a lap down, so those would currently be the bottom 5 cars for this week. But let's take a look at the field, as James McLeod is the race leader. Second is James Shelley. Third, Michael Norman. Fourth, Anthony McCrory. Fifth is Cole Baker. Sixth is Bradley Zorgdrager. Seventh, Jake Rogers. Eighth is Joshua Collard. Ninth, Tim Fiegel. 10th, Dylan Pote. 11th, Caleb Kilburn. 12th, Raphael Leduc. 13th, Jessica Shelton. 14th, Zachary Fitzwater. 15th is Charles Sanford. 16th is Dylan Young. 17th, Jonathan Zorline. 18th, Matt McIntyre. 19th, Kyle Matthews. 20th is Johnny Gardner. 21st is Joey Parkhill. 22nd, DJ Curtis. 23rd, Trent Dunham. 24th, Melissa Alexander. 25th, James Qualls. 26th is Logan Bradley. 27th, Chris Dollarton. 28th, Benjamin Miles. 29th, Rob Evans. 30th, Joshua Sakuli. And then the rest of these cars are going to most likely be off the pace. Seth Cole in 31st, 32nd, Cole Deaver, 33rd, Phil Parker, 34th, Carson Gum, and then 35th, Jake Baskinger. And then, of course, 36th, one lap down, is Jay Jefferson. It'll be 12 laps to go when we get to the line here, so we're closing in on the halfway point of the race. And we've seen some great racing so far here at the start. Let's see if now with less cars and a single file restart, we'll see how the racing turns out now, as the green flag is back out. But you got to wonder about Jay Jefferson, because he was involved in the big one, and you can tell he's got damage. Let's see if he's off the pace or not, and it looks like he is, because he's now holding up that inside line, helping for Shelley and Norman to go by on the outside. Jefferson going to try and stay in the middle, but he's still going to end up holding up a bunch of cars, so not a lot of people are going to be happy with the 87 of Jefferson being in their way, causing separations up here in the pack. But back up at the front, the battle rages on once again between McLeod and McCrory. Both of these drivers in their farewell seasons looking to make some noise, as right now McLeod still hangs on. McCrory to the middle, but Cole Baker on the inside trying to make it 3 wide for the lead. Dylan Potee trying to push Baker to get to the race lead. And then you got 3 of the Retro Racing Enterprise teammates working together behind Potee, Sanford, Matthews, and LeDuc. As they're getting to 4 wide racing again up here at the front. 5 wide, actually. But they give each other plenty of room to make it work. Almost 6 wide. I think they actually were 6 wide for a second. Holy cow. Yeah, they were 6 wide for a brief moment right there. Oh, and we just got another crash. But I think they went to the pits, but the caution comes out anyways. Oh my God. Matt McIntyre hits that pit wall. And the caution came out just before the leaders got to the start-finish line. James Qualls got slammed, but ends up going through the pits to avoid any further damage. I believe the other car I saw get turned was Bradley's Zordragger, but I think he saved it. Looks like Caleb Kilburn got a piece of whatever just happened as well. But I believe it was Cole Baker who led at the line in just moments, but I'm concerned about Matt McIntyre because, as you saw, he was in the water barrels in the end of that pit road wall. So let's take a look and see what brought the caution out for the second time tonight here at Pensacola. Well, here's a look at what happened. So watch the 66 of Bradley Zordragger on the outside line. He's trying to get a run around Tim Fiegel, and he tries to come down to get behind James Shelley, but doesn't see the 99 of Caleb Kilburn and wasn't quite clear of him to make that move. Comes down into both the 14 and the 70. The 70 makes it into pit road, but watch the 14 head on into the end of the pit wall at 180 miles an hour, coming to a complete stop. That was brutal. The 70 of Qualls did a great job of catching his race car, getting into the pits. McIntyre about had it saved to either go into the pits or get on the track, but it all happened so fast, he didn't know what was going to happen, and he ended up taking a scary, scary impact into the end of the pit wall. And because of that, that was what the caution was thrown for. But nonetheless, let's go back and take a look at the 14 of Matt McIntyre and watch this impact. But yeah, as you can see, the 66 just wasn't quite clear of the 99. Pretty hard hit for James Qualls right there on the right side. But then this impact. Man. Sure hope he's okay, because that was scary. Really, really scary. Like, oh my goodness. But let's take you to the restart here at Pensacola. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Levi McIntyre here with a little editor's note. So, unfortunately, I could not get the final green flag run to the end for the Pensacola race because something happened with the video file where it got broken and I can't get that file back. So unfortunately you won't get to see the classic 4-wide photo finish at the line between Charles Sanford, Cole Baker, Tim Fiegel, and Anthony McCrory. But as you will soon see on your screen, the final results, the point standings, and so on and so forth going into Las Vegas. So I apologize for Bandicam being a pain in the rear end. So hopefully next time for Vegas it won't do this again. But thank you for watching. Until we get to Vegas, this is Levi McIntyre signing off.